All right, welcome back, YouTube Axis and Allies brethren, to the turret in Goldsboro, North Carolina for another exciting anniversary edition game, 1941 version, between LT and Corporal Panda as the Axis, and Captain Jack and Private Joe as a combination of the Allies. So, hopefully you guys saw the intro video that LT did earlier, explaining the house rules that we're going to use. We're going to use transport rules, interceptor rules, transport defender rules, that is, interceptor rules. There's one other rule I want to make sure we're clear on, is that C-Zone 5 cannot be entered into unless your friendly power owns Northwest Europe or the Denmark. Denmark here has to own have to own Denmark to be able to pass through the Denmark Straits. Sorry, I'll spit it out here in just a second. Now subs can pass through, but that's it. So anyway, so LT and Corporal Panda, actually Corporal Panda just did a very good German turn, and so now we're Private Joe is going to come back now with his Russian turn, and yes, that is the Russian national anthem playing in the background. I'm trying to motivate the troops for these counterattacks. So, purchases first for this turn. We've got 1 armor division, we've got 4 artillery units, and we have 3 infantry units. Spending all the IPC, so there'll be none remaining for the next round. 5, 16, and 9 total. 5, 16, and 9, what is that, 30? 30 total. All right, so we've got 2 combat moves for this round. The sub from C-Zone 4 is going to move 2 spaces into C-Zone 2 and attack this German sub. Then we've got 5 artillery, 5 infantry and 1 artillery from Karelia going into Finland to take on 2 German infantry units. So again, I apologize for the mistakes, but we've got 5 infantry, 1 artillery going against 2 German infantry. All right, so we'll get ready to roll those now. All right, so for the first combat move this evening in the first battle, we've got the battle for Finland. So again, we've got 5 infantry, 4 rolling at 1 die. We've got 1 infantry, 1 artillery rolling at 2 green die, and we've got 2 German infantry rolling at 2 green die. So we roll the Russian dice first. So here's the attack. And 1 hit. So, German infantry will fire back. No hits. So, Russia will press the attack. Looking for 1 hit. And there's 2 hits. German infantry has been destroyed. They do get to fire back. And there's that roll, and there's a hit. So we'll put that back on the battle board now. So the German infantry, both German infantry units have been destroyed. Russia lost 1 infantry unit. Germany went down 2 from 36 to 34. Russia went up 2 from 27 to 29. Now we'll roll the submarine sea battle. All right, so for non-combat movement, for the first non-combat movement for the USSR, we have 2 infantry from Sanovoj Khrebet going into Buryatia, SSR. We have 2 infantry from Soviet Far East also going into Buryatia, SSR. We have 1 infantry from Yakut, SSR going into the Soviet Far East. And we have 1 infantry from Avenke National Okrug going into Novosibirsk. Sorry for the pronunciation, guys. All right, so for Continuing on with the non-combat movements, we've got two infantry from Novosibirsk going into Qinghai, and we've got two infantry from Kazakh SSR going south down into Persia. Continuing on the non-combat moves for Private Joe and Russia and USSR, excuse me. Two infantry from Archangel, one going to Belarusia, both going to Belarusia. So two infantry from Archangel going into Belarusia. One infantry from Belarusia going into eastern Ukraine. Infantry from Baltic states going into Belarusia. Infantry from Russia going into Kazakh SSR. And infantry from Russia. Second infantry from Russia going into the Caucasus. One tank going into eastern Ukraine from Russia. And one artillery also going into eastern Ukraine from Russia. Alright, so for our place units phase of the turn, we've got one artillery and one infantry going into Karelia. We have one artillery and, two artillery going into Russia. And into the Caucasus, we have one tank division, two infantry division, and one artillery division. So for income, Russia is on 29. They will receive a 5 IPC bonus for still controlling Archangel and no other allied powers present in Russia-controlled territory. So they'll have 34 to spend for next round. Next up will be the unit recap phase. So for the unit recap phase, we have one Russian sub in C-Zone 2. We have 4 infantry in Finland with 1 artillery. In Karelia, we have 1 artillery, 1 infantry, 1 AA gun, and 1 industrial complex. In Baltic states, we have 2 infantry. In Belarusia, 4 infantry. Keep in mind, guys, that green chips are 3 in our game. So 3, gray are 1, green are 3, and red are 5. In eastern Ukraine, 2 infantry, 1 tank, and 1 artillery. In the Caucasus, 1 artillery, 1 tank, 1 industrial complex, 1 AA gun, and 8 infantry units. In Russia, there's 2 artillery, 1 AA gun, and 1 industrial complex. In Persia, there's 2 infantry. In Kazakh SSR, there's 1 infantry. In Qinghai, there is 2 infantry. In Novosibirsk, there is 1 infantry. In the Soviet Far East, 1 infantry. In Eurasia SSR, there is 7 infantry units. So that concludes this Russian turn of round 1 for Private Joe. So from the turret room in Goldsboro, North Carolina, Captain Jack and Private Joe, over and out.